Hello. Good morning, evening, afternoon, etc., etc. G'day, well met. Hello, hello, hello. We are indeed live. This is true. This is not pre-recorded. This is 100% ad-libbed off the top of my head. Twice a week. Greco, hello. Julian, hello. Twice a week. I have to stand up and think of something to say for 2 hours. How's everyone's midweek going? I still cannot work out how to gift memberships on YouTube anymore. The options just disappeared for me entirely. So I guess that's a thing. It won't even let me, like, what's weird is it won't even give me the option to purchase them. Normally I could have been like, I want to buy some, or I could gift them, but it's gone. Evening, hello. Everything, much like me with the Lua bindings, it always takes longer than you think it's going to. Emery, hello. Am I the stubborn person because I won't put the fan on? I'm not sure if that's what you're getting at. But the temperature, much cooler today. It's a lot more palatable in this office. So we'll see how it goes. Let some regulars roll in. Yes, it's been pretty hot here in the UK. The rain, it was absolutely torrential rain for about an hour. It was very much needed. Tough one. What are you gonna do? Everything's a compromise. Sometimes you've got to make a decision to make progress and get on with it. So, before the stream, I committed to the 2 cardinal sins of streaming. Before the stream, I both updated my operating system and updated the compiler that we're using. And both seem to be okay. As in, the OS is obviously fine because I'm here. And I rebuilt the whole thing from scratch using the latest MSVC, and no errors, no new warnings, no errors, no new errors, everything built. I did a quick test run and it ran. So we'll see. Yeah, I like to live dangerously on a Wednesday. Well, I thought I want to upgrade the compiler anyway. I've also upgraded Clang D, so I get a lot less annoying red errors around my terrible log library. So it's not complaining anymore about anything in here, which is nice. So we're on Clang 20.1 or Clang D 20.1, I should say, and yeah, MSVC. Whatever this is, 1741, it's the 1944 compiler, but that's the 17.14 MSVC toolchain, I think, because they use 2 different numbers for what is effectively the same thing. Everything seems fine. It all seems to work. I will convince you of that now by running what we did last time. Yeah, well, it's nothing like. Let's just, before we go do a big demo, you've got to update all your dependencies. We're still here. We're still gaming. Obviously, this still moves even when we are not looking at it. So that's the kind of functionality we need to fix today. What I want to do today is continue bringing over the functionality from the C++ over to the Lua. So that will involve getting into Lua the concept of visibility or occlusion. I think I prefer the term visibility because occlusion implies you won't see it behind something else. I suppose it's cold, maybe? Anyway, I need to have a Boolean flag attached to it that the Lua can understand. and then it can decide what to do based on that. So that involves changing the entity thing. Oh, I just realized I started off in this view. I didn't even start off in my normal view, so I guess. Oh. Paid for a Stream Deck. I might as well use all the buttons. So yeah, we're gonna continue tracking on that. The aim, I'd like to, by the end of this, to be able to remove all the C++ code that we've written for the levels and have it just in Lua, or at least, yeah, and have it in Lua basically. Hello, Nordgaren. Hello. Yeah, I've spent some time. I watched all of Nutty's videos, and I was like, come on, I think I want that. So, ooh. Bit of fun. What's life without whimsy? Ah, that's Julian. You're having a bad day. I hope it picks up. AC, hello. OMG is Goza. Hello. Right. Actually, interesting. Before we start, I should add some sound effects, shouldn't I? It's because I don't have any sound. I have everything muted when I'm streaming because it's not that, like, you only need my dulcet tones. So I have everything muted, so I don't hear anything. Okay, I'm going to, before we start, something interesting. This is 100% for me to game the engagement, but there's a new command for both Twitch and YouTube. So all going to have to rush and type it first and see what happens. If you do bang code, I want to see if it works. So yes, I've open sourced what the majority of what we've done so far for people to have a look at outside of the stream. Just called it microgame. It is a. I'm going to quickly go through it. I spent some time tarting it up. So there's a whole load of quality of life fixes. There's more tests. It's much better. Well, actually, let's start with, like, everything is organized into folders. Not just the half the stuff that I could be bothered to do. Everything is in its own folder. And basically, I'm a serial over documenter and over commenter. So that is a bad example because I didn't finish commenting that one. I'll add that to my to-do list. What a terrible one to start with. Everything is documented up. Hopefully it's a bit easier to kind of see and read. All the Lua stuff is in there. It has a lot more tests. There's a bunch of quality of life improvements that I've made. So I went back through and I fixed, what's a good example? I changed all the error stuff to properly use format string rather than string view message. The exceptions I tidied up, I think. Yeah, so that's got a templated context for a constructor which takes that. A whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, my plan is to semi-regularly sync this to what we've done. Obviously, the only assets in here are stuff that I am almost 100% sure I'm okay to distribute. So that's basically stuff I've taken off of learnopengl.com. And the fragment shaders, so there's no barrel meshes, there's no mesh loading. It doesn't. If you load up the game, it's literally just the skybox and the purple checkerboard floor, and that is it. It doesn't really use any of the physics, or, like, the example is terrible, but the code is there if you're interested. It tells you how to build it. I've no idea it works on my machine. No idea if it works on yours. But yeah, anyway, that's so now when someone comes along into the stream like, oh, is this open source? And you're like, bang code. I am not planning on. I meant to put this in the README, but I forgot. I'm not planning on accepting any PRs into it because it is kind of a mirror of what we're doing stream, and then I am writing everything live stream. So it's just going to be a periodic sync to that. I don't like the upstream should always be the live stream game version, right? And this should be just like a forked downstream with a few small changes. I don't want it to diverge too much, then it then becomes difficult for me to periodically sync them. So it is under a permissive boost license. You are more than welcome to fork it and do whatever you want with it, but I probably will not be accepting any PRs into it just because I'm already chronically short on time, and it might actually make it harder for me to maintain. So yeah, that's kind of my view on that. Feel free just to take out issues and shout at me if you don't like anything there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, now we can bang code whenever no one asks. Oh, it is not. It's not perfect code. Pretty far from perfect. But it is code. Okay, so let's have a look at how we're going to do the visibility on this. We need some way. Barrels at the moment is a array of vectors because we set them up here. This will need to be probably some sort of array of vector and other stuff like, I don't know, visibility. But I don't know how to get the visibility into the Lua. I don't know, because let's have a look. We have the intersex frustrum here, so we could move that into the Lua, but I feel like it's a lot of typing. It's a lot of extra things that we don't have yet. Like we don't have the. I mean, AABs and frustrums are all defined in terms of vectors anyway, so we could bodge that in. But I kind of feel also like, as it's reasonably mathematically intensive, I feel like we're better off computing this on the C++ side, informing the scene and the rest of the machinery around it, and then we can take other actions based on that. So for instance, this is my thing. So if we had something like here, something like, I don't know, update visibility, right? And then we could in renderer, we could be like, for entity and entities where, you know, where entities are visible. So we could then kind of we could easily accelerate the renderer. Not that we're doing much rendering, but we could easily accelerate the renderer based on that which we have already computed. And then just got to like smash that into the Lua somehow. So no, this is not. Great question, Nordgeren. This is not an engine. I'm just making a game. I'm being quite sort of upfront about this. I'm only writing. I want to make a game, right? So I'm only writing code that advances us towards that goal. So the underlying code, which kind of looks a little bit like an engine, is not generic. It only supports the exact functionality that we need right here and now. So I think a good example of that is like Vector 4, for instance, only has plus and minus operators and dot. There's no cross, there's no negate, there's nothing else because we've not needed it yet. When we need it, I'll add it. So rather than trying to boil the ocean and write every bit of functionality I think that we need now, I'm just writing what we need in the here and now, making some progress, and then going back and aggressively refactoring later. So yeah, that's kind of the view of it. The next project, because I would like to make a game after this, will probably take all of this common stuff out and shape it a bit more like an engine and then build on that. But that's for the next project. Now, just the relentless march of progress. Yeah, we could do it on the fly in C++. Part of me feels like. So also, as is very obvious, I don't have a plan for any of this. I don't do anything off stream. Every single line of code for the first release of the game will be written live, and that means all the design decisions and mistakes are made live. So I kind of feel like entity should just have a boolean of like skip or is visible or something like that. It already has all the other stuff, right? It already has a mesh and a material transform. I feel like it would kind of fit nicely into this machinery. Jono, hello. I don't really go by Nate, but no worries, you probably didn't know that, so I won't hold it against you. No, but all entities might need an entity check if we want to use it to accelerate the renderer, is what I'm saying. Like, we might end up having to do it all anyway, so why not do it once at the beginning of the frame, just pay that price, because you could almost, with enough entities, you could even parallelize it, and then that information is just available-ish. I think we're going to have to, like, poke it into Lua. Like, I might as well, I feel like we would get that for free. I'm going to start off with this, right? Have I got a clean working tree-ish? Yeah. Right, I'm going to start off with that, and as always, I am fully prepared to make some mistakes and regret this decision in a few streams' time. Have you properly built the resource pack and everything to go with it? Also, like, I provide zero guarantee that it works. I think it's more there if you want to build it and play around with it, fine. I've done no more testing outside of my weird, very, very esoteric development environment. I think it's more there for people just to look at the code, but sure. Yeah, I mean, give it a go. It should work under MSVC because I'm literally doing that now, albeit via wine. Okay, so let's do ball visible, and then we can have something like auto is visible const ball auto set visibility ball visibility const. Oh, okay. Also, I think we're going to have to put the AABB into. So the other thing is we have this thing I hate, which is the transformed entity, which is basically a way of me of bodging our compile time, chain of responsibility, pipeline operator thing, which still has to have dynamic polymorphism, blah, 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 into the entity. It composes it. So I think we can just basically take AABB, stick an entity. All entities will have an AABB. Doesn't sound like a bad thing. And then basically just sack this off and delete it. And then we'll see what we get to. I think I might have left that chain code in. Yeah, if anyone's ever interested in it, is actually on the repo. If you want to see some template mesh programming shenanigans, it is all there. It's not too bad. A friend of mine used the phrase stunt C++ the other day, and that's all I can think of. It's maths ABB. Also, by munging the AABB into this, we can have things like set position update it automatically, because at the moment we have to manually update that in the. Do we do that in the Lua level? Somewhere we. Or might actually be in game. No, it must be in Lua level. Oh, here we go. We already have to do this, so again, we can abstract that all out of the level code. The level shouldn't have to worry about that. The entity has an AABB, and when you change the position, it automatically does that. We can also do it so that if it rotates, it could do it. At the moment, rotating it will not resize the AABB, but again, like, what are you going to do? We've all got bugs. That can't be const. Where do I get a greater cut from subs, on YouTube or on Twitch? Great question. I don't think I really know the answer to that. I I suspect YouTube membership gives more to me. I don't really know. I mean, I don't make loads of money off of the platforms, but I definitely make more on YouTube because that's backed by all the videos. My understanding, the anecdotal evidence says that with a sufficiently sized equal audience on both, you'll make more money on the moment on Twitch, but you'll make more money on the long tail on YouTube because it's a VOD and people rewatch it. So yeah, I don't really know. I think Twitch has better monetization things potentially for live streams, although YouTube does have super thanks and super likes and super whatever it is and all those sort of stuff. I think there's maybe more of a culture on Twitch of using those. I don't really know is the answer. If you are a YouTube member, you get early access to videos, so there is always that. But then if you're a Twitch subscriber, you don't get ads on these. So I guess it really depends which more of the things you're into. But everything is basically free for everyone eventually, so there's no requirement or expectation to spend money on me. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I tend to get more viewers on YouTube, but that's because I grew the audience there first and started streaming on there first, and then I only went to Twitch sometime late last year. I was definitely just streaming on YouTube to start with. So yeah, it's hard to say, but the Twitch numbers are creeping up. You guys are getting pretty close now, which is cool. Okay, so we'll have that, and then I think we'll wang in the AABB here. So we'll have like AABB bounding box. What I should do is calculate the bounding box based on the mesh. I wonder if that's worth just doing that today. The problem is though, we lose the mesh data. I mean, I'm all up for a friendly competition. Quacko's been subscribed for 6 months. 1, very much appreciate it. 2, about a rough indication of probably how long I've been on the Twitches. Okay, so what I'm thinking now is like, this might be worth spending a bit of time in the stream just to tidy this bit up a bit. Like, if we're going to put AABBs in, let's try. I'm not saying we're going to do all the rotations because my brain I can't handle all the rotational stuff and resizing today, but it'd be enough to get it to translate. Let's do that. Let's put the visibility in the bounding box and entity. I think that makes sense in the here and now. My query is, when you construct an entity, do you give it to the initial AABB or do you get it to calculate it on the mesh, right? My view is you calculate it on the mesh. Like, here's a mesh, and you'll be like, oh, cool. I'll put an AABB around that. AABB is axis aligned bounding box, by the way. If I keep saying that and doesn't mean anything, it is a box that encapsulates every single triangle of that mesh, but is always parallel to the XYZ coordinates. It's axis aligned, so you don't rotate it. It makes the maths quite simple for a lot of things, but obviously does have its disadvantages. So yeah, so I'm gonna ignore rotations for now. I think we're not using it, so it's fine. It's shit out of luck at that point. I'll add that later. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. Much appreciated. It does get easier the more you do it, but it's still not easy. It's still weird. I still get that like 1 at like 7:59. Like, I'm about to press a button and I have to be like entertaining and engaging for 2 hours. Hope I can think of something to say. Okay, so we'll calculate on the mesh. The problem is though, the mesh object is merely a wrapper around the OpenGL buffer, right? if you look at its members, it has a VAO and a VBO and an index count and an index offset. I wonder if we can map it back from the GPU for this operation. Like, it would be expensive, but it's something we would only be doing at the point where we're constructing the scene. It does mean that adding things and moving things to the scene might be quite expensive if you have to map in a graphics buffer each time. I'm hoping Haran's going to kick in a minute and tell me whether this is a good idea or not. Yeah, they're just normal vectors. Yeah, so the question is, do I store the mesh data in the CPU and increase my memory usage? Yeah. So yeah, does mesh own... The reason I did it is because I couldn't see any point in owning the mesh data, right? Because up until this point, I've never needed it. Mesh could simply be a wrapper around the OpenGL primitives. But now that I need it, is it worth hoofing that data around? No worries, that's what I'm here to do. So this object could be bigger, but I guess meshes are only created once anyway, because we cache those. That's a good point. So let's puzzle this out. Okay, where do we create meshes? We create meshes. So let's close this down. We create meshes here, okay? We insert them into the resource cache, and the data comes from the TLV, which is our serialized file format for storing assets. So we would need to make sure that in this case, the TLV file here, right? This line 76 persists, which it will do for us at the moment because it's just created once in game and lives till the end of the game. So I think maybe just non-owning reference might be what we want. Yeah, but the question, yes. So the question is like, where do you get that min and max from? Like, I still need to be able to query the mesh data. And at the moment, yeah, okay, fine. I think we've... So this class is already non-copyable. I'm wondering if I need to store mesh data as a pointer, purely because I might still need this move assignable within the container, like within the cache. I don't really like... Oh no, it's from the TLV reader anyway, isn't it? So let's have a look at the implementation of this. So we get... Oh yeah, this is horrifying. We pull out the mesh data from the TLV, which is our serialized binary format for storing assets. I then locally call the constructor and then just swap them out because it was easier to read. I didn't want to retype out all this code. So either way, we're always going to end up here. Yes, no, I think you're right. I think we're going to do this. I'm just trying to get the flow of code in my head right. I think we'll always go through this constructor, which means this constructor is safe to persist it. I do, however, think I want this to be a pointer. So it's easier for me to store. suppose I could use reference wrapper. I think I might go reference wrapper just because I know this already works and it's the smallest change to the API. I don't normally like using reference wrapper, but I think in this case that's fine. Where's reference wrapper when it's at home? Utils? Utility. Nice, nailed it. Const mesh data. Yes. So that's a good point. I do like to every now and then run a tech debt payback stream where we just go through and just fix little bugs and quality of life improvements and stuff like that, because the whole thing of doing it live is we only have a short amount of time to work on this. So sometimes decisions just have to be made that progresses us, and we will just live with those decisions. This is very much raw software engineering. This is, you know, this is fail fast, MVP, all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't want, the thing is though, is I don't want mesh to store the AABB. Like, that is kind of, it's not its responsibility. AABB is outside of the responsibility of the mesh. So I need to calculate that within the entity, who I do think has the responsibility of that, but the current interface of mesh does not allow us to get the data out in order to build the AABB. So that's what I'm going for here. So let's do auto mesh data const is const mesh data. Right, something like that. Okay, what is mesh data? Is actually okay. So that's just got vertices and indices in it. Wait, these are non-owning anyway. So what was I worried about? Oh, wait a minute. Why am I not storing that by? Why am I not storing that by value? Just 2 spans, right? Can be 16 bytes each. Don't need any of this. It's been so long since we've done any of this. Everyone gets a copy, you get a copy, and you get a copy, and you get a copy. Everyone gets a copy. In fact, let's even be explicit about this, and let's just say, all right, like, it's not the cheapest thing in the world to copy, but it's really not that bad. Yeah, I think the reason why I don't want it belonging to the mesh is no. Like, people should 100% like question everything I say and offer suggestions and force me to defend my position a little bit, because I sure as hell am making up a lot of this as I go along. The reason I think it belongs to entity is because entity has the concept of a position and a rotation and effectively a transformation, and the AABB will need to be updated along with that. So I think it makes more sense that you take the mesh, which is the model space vertices, right? You combine that with a transform, which is a world space, which is where it exists in the world space, and then on top of that you have the AABB, which also exists in the world space. So that's why I think the entity is effectively the world space information around the model data, or the mesh data, whatever you want to call it, plus a lot of other shit that I'm putting in as well. Yeah, go get the short. Yeah, exactly. I gain, every time someone asks a question and I get a reason, and I can create a reasonably coherent answer, I get views, and that's the most important thing. I see the little graph line go up, and then I get happy. So. It's fine. We're getting there. So now I need auto. Oh, I meant to add a Nightbot command, which was like bang trailing return type or something, so people with which just has my usual spiel on it, but I forgot. Okay, so that'll do that. We'll do this, that, and the other. So we will need to do namespace. Maths, AABB, auto calculate bounding box, game AABB. Put the semicolon there, it's fine. Could be anywhere. So by default, visible will be true, and the bounding box will be calculate bounding box. It's just so I can do it in the initializer list. That's why I put it in a little factory method up here. And this will take a game, no, it won't take a const game mesh. Okay. And then this will be mesh. So that should work for us. Yeah, and something that explains my scuffed setup as well. So the AABB is just the minimum XYZ and maximum XYZ coordinates, right? Oh, good point. Yes, we do have a position scale. So let's do that. Let's also do const. Good spot. I missed that. That was a bug waiting to happen. Oh, actually, in fact, let's do this the proper way. Else we've already turned it into a transform object. At that point, we can just pass in transform there. Okay, so now, because that will automatically convert it to a matrix for us. No, I'm not planning on writing a traditional ECS. Like, entity is just a grab bag of things that I need to render something in the world at the moment. I have no plans on building like an ECS. I just don't think we're going to need it. No, AABB is about as basic as it could be. So we probably might kind of promote it to a class. That's absolutely not the right words to use in C++. I might add some more methods to AABB and calculate it there. We'll see how much of the code we have to keep reusing. At the moment, it's kind of nice. It's just a super lightweight struct. but what I might be worth adding the functionality to that to bring it to decouple it from entity. I'm glad you're enjoying the YouTube videos. Yeah, the YouTube videos are reverse engineering. Live stream is forward engineering. I get to pretend I know what I'm doing at both. Yeah, exactly. I think the overhead in building and running the ECS is way better than any actual benefit I would get out of it. Okay, I think we're gonna need some ranges. Let's do some ranges. What I'm thinking is I want something like yeah, if the spans and views and stuff are non-owning references, so you have to, it's up to you to make sure that the thing, the referent, if you will, maintains the correct lifetime, as in outlives the reference. Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping it simple for now. That's kind of my view. Let's just write some code that gets us going, and if it's slow and it's shit, we'll just profile and refactor it later. I'm very much of the opinion that we just need to write code that gets us progressing, and not all great suggestions, and I really appreciate them. When it's dogshit slow, and I'm pulling what's left of my hair out, then I think your comment will be well needed. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this not even in a not particularly performant way, but in a way that is hopefully easy to understand. It's not slow now. It's fine. We haven't had any performance issues. Don't we talk about? We had a physics system running with like thousands and thousands of barrels, and it was still pretty good. So mesh data, vertices, stood views, filter. Actually, is my the build system's pretty janky. I don't know if stood min does what I want it to do, but I might need a projection. No, let's just do it this way, and then when it's all dreadful, it's clever that ClangD's figured out what the auto type is and give me an error. That's cool because it's vertex data, isn't it? So it's actually dot position.x. And then I should be able to do const auto min-max x equals stood ranges min-max access. I'm probably going to need to include what algorithm. Yes. Oh, that's another Nightbot command I meant to add. Is yes, on my GitHub somewhere there's a thing called dot files, and that has all my dot files set up. John finally made it. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Do ask questions. I'm happy to answer anything that does make sense as we go along. Yeah, like this should. It's the range as min max, right? I mean, min max has been an algorithm for ages, right? I think that's been since like pre 11. There's been min max, but ranges obviously allows you to do it on a range. So I should be able to. You'll get a min max result, which is fine. But I should be able to do it on. Why is it not liking it on the range? What am I missing? Is C++ 20? Yes, anonymous functions works the same as static functions. It provides internal linkage, which means they're only visible to that translation unit. The reason I like anonymous namespaces is one, static is already kind of overloaded with other terms already, and two, you can't do types and like classes and stuff like that. So I just prefer namespaces, an anonymous namespace. Because then what I should be able to do, right, is be able to return I should be able to return minmax.x.min, minmax.x.min, minmax.z.min. I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna copy that. Like, it's a little bit inefficient because it involves several iterations over the data, whereas you in theory you would just write the loop and do it once and bookkeep yourself. But I have like a bit of an aversion to loops. I would rather use ranges where possible, and I don't think it's going to be that computationally bad. Something clever compiler, do it together maybe? Question mark. I don't know why this doesn't like this though. This is upsetting me greatly. Make it work. Make it work. Make it pretty. Maybe make it fast. Yeah, it's as of this. What are you chatting about? It's pretty. That's a bold claim. That. Very assertive for a compiler. What? I've ballsed up mesh somewhere, which is separate to this, but let's go. What was that like? 16. Oh. Did I just revert? Did I just revert that change? Just revert that, just in case that's. It makes no real difference. The copy is happening anyway. Yeah, that is true. Like, if it was non-committal on the conversion, we would have other problems. Okay, entity, min-max x. Oh, Jesus. Call to object of class type ranges min-max function, no matching call operator found. But I don't have to provide a call operator. Like, right? I guess this is what we're doing today. Like, but these should all be projected to floats, right? Like, I've done the projection for it. Because these should all be floats. No, min-max result is what it returns, right? So this is the return. The return type is a range as min-max result. This page just says it defines what both of these are. So min-max will loop through every element and do the bookkeeping of keeping a minimum and maximum for you. No, we don't need a for loop. We don't need it. What I could do is project it, right? And then have a default less comparator. And then just pass in the thing. Where's my? Have I got an example of doing the projection? Maybe that's what I want. So maybe I want something like mesh data dot vertices, right? And then stood less. That and then const auto e return e dot position dot x. 990 followers. Exciting. It seems less grumpy about that. Missing field max in. Oh, hang on. Yes, you're not right. You're not wrong there. I have shoved too many elements in. Let's try that. Yeah, I think I've spent enough time in miserable compiler errors to know that the answer you want is either at the top or in the middle, and very rarely anywhere else. Return cannot convert permissions to game AABB. What? I'm absolutely shocked you cannot infer that. Absolutely. What does it think I'm? There's something to do with this projection it doesn't like. I am kind of confused. Oh, the type's here. Out of the way. Keep it safe. Keep it secret. Oh, do you still get a... Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's a little bit gross, that. It's gonna... I thought the projection would... It's gonna... I thought the projection would actually convert it to floats, but what it's going to do is it's still going to give me the original elements, which is not the end of the world, because it's basically saying, here is the vertex with the minimum x, here is the vertex data with the minimum y, and maximum. So it's not too bad. I feel like that is not... Unless you knew that was going on, it might be a little bit weird to see, but we're here now, so what are you going to do about it? It's nice that it also, like... ClangD has picked it up, like it sure does know better than I do. But now I can get rid of this and just infer it. No, I do auto pretty much all local variables unless I need to know the size, unless I need to be explicit around the size of them for serialization. But what I tend to do is, I don't know if this is a good example. I will do something like auto x, bad example, v equals like stood. I'm trying to use this style more, right? So auto thing, so everything is auto variable name equals, and then put the type on the other side, unless it's something obvious, like I would probably do like 2u rather than say stood uint 32t2. So for primitive types, I would probably totally rely on auto type deduction. For everything else, I'm just stylistically kind of the same as the functions, auto name and then the type at the end, just trying to keep it consistent. Yeah, all that. Okay, so that's actually const, no, not const, auto AABB equals that. Let's be more explicit with our names. Oh good, we're halfway through the stream and not really cheap lot. But we've all learned about min and max today, haven't we? So that's exciting. So yeah, this will get the minimum max. It's obviously slightly less efficient than doing it in one loop, but I think it's nicer, question mark. Yeah, up to you. Like your code, your rules. This is my style and I'm trying to keep reasonably consistent with it. I need to now transform this based on the transform. So I think, because I can get a matrix out of this, I can do... Actually, can I just do times transform dot matrix? I can't remember the order that these have to, if I have an explicit order. Ugh. That will teach me for using an implicit cast operator. It might not like the order. Oh, the trigraphs and digraphs? No, I've never used those. Well, I think digraphs have been deprecated, and I think trigraphs might be on the way out. I can't remember. One of them is definitely out. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Matrix. I'm just trying to think about the best way of doing this. I definitely... Do I have a multiply by a vector? I might not have written this yet. No. That's annoying. Okay, fine. What we can do... It's all gone. I've had enough. I'm just trying to reuse what we've already got. So I think... You're not building anything with my knowledge of coding. what am I trying to do? I'm trying to scale out the minimum maximum boundings based on the transform. The transform is a matrix. Yeah, I think we're going to have to add that to the matrix 4. Okay, fine. Not the end of the world. Let's add... const, so x const. Oh no, I mean this has to return. I'm not going to have multiply equals because it has to return a vector, right? So I'm only going to want this as just a freestanding one of these. Right. Yeah, OpenGL is complicated, like, and just because there's more complex things out there doesn't mean itself is not complicated. Yeah, I'd have to add it to the vector 3. I'm not that fussed about it because vector 3 is kind of like a bit of a leaf node at the moment. I'm not that fussed about adding it in. I just want to get this going. So it's first row by first column, right? But I got my random column major in the data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's the mathematical notation for it. Obviously not taking into account how we're storing it internally. And then I want to do times y x z, because it's what I call one, it doesn't matter because we're just going to discount that. That's what we want to do, right? Because it's a vector is just a 1×3 matrix by another name. That's the Diablo video. Then if you're talking about Glide, maybe a future live stream project. Okay, so this is how matrix multiplication works. You do the first row by the first column, the second row by the first column, the third row by the first column, and the final row by the first column, because there's only one column. These is the mathematical notation of it. However, I am storing them in column major order, which means in the contiguous array, I go 0, 4, 8, 12, 1, 5, 9, 13, 2, 6, 10, 14, 3, 7, 11, 15. So I need to take that into account when I'm doing them. So first row is actually the first column. I get this wrong every time. I think that's right. 100% convinced I can do this. I can do this from scratch because there was a lot of interesting C++ and design stuff to discuss around doing operator overloading and the maths libraries and stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to do as much from scratch. So yeah. Don't I have like a column? Can I get like the rows? So I think I can. I think equals m.row 0, right? And then I can return v.x first row times row 1 dot x plus v dot y times row 2 dot y plus v dot z times row 1 dot z. Yes, I know I made a mistake. All right, and then go back for that, and then f1 r2 3. Yes. Yes, I'm gonna find my trusty GLM link and then see what the answer should be and then check that we get it. And I found the link on the Discord. Okay, we had this from before, from the Discord. So this does a lot of what we want. Nailed it, nice. Oh, the numbers on Twitch and YouTube are very, very close. Very close indeed. Exciting. The race. Okay, so this, the aforementioned correct way of doing this is to use GLM, right? 100%. You are correct. That is the right way, the right choice. I've just chosen not to use it. But however, it's very useful for comparing things. So what we're going to do is so we've got a vec3 there, and then we're going to do in mode, obviously, not a psychopath. So m3 equals agilum at 4 f 2.0 f 3.0 f 4.0 f 5.0 f. Everyone out there having fun as I reinvent a number station? Okay. And then I've already got my vec3, so what's it? Actually, because I started it at, I've gone full Lua and started at 1. Then we can do not that. Oh my goodness. Why is man, the lim bindings on this weird. Right, anyway, stood print earn. We're gonna do M3 times V equals that, and then we're gonna do the old GLM2 string. And we're going to do M3 times V. Let's see what this gives us. Is it because it's a... We are kind of breaking the rules of maths a bit by just fabricating an additional element that we don't need. I mean, those are numbers. Do we all agree? We all agree. Can we all agree? Numbers. See if we get the same numbers. Test. Not even in this file. Like absolutely. Right. Test matrix for mul matrix for vector 3. Okay, so oh yeah, making it 0, that's a good point. We can make sure it's definitely 0 then. Yeah, so the colon is the global namespace operator. It has like two purposes. One is in your kind of tooling in IDE, it immediately kicks off the autocomplete. So if you're looking for a free function, well, anything in the global namespace, you can now start getting it, which is nice. And the other one is I use it personally as a visual indicator that this is code I didn't write. It's from the platform or a third party. So just as I'm scrolling down through the code, my eye can easily see what I did and didn't write. I still didn't give 0 in the last one. No, because that won't make any difference because you accumulate them across. So it's this times the other one plus this times the other one plus this. So you'll accumulate the whole row based on this. So you'd have to make out all the subsequent rows in the matrix 0. It's not the end of the world. Do I have a do? That's an expected. Let's do const m, so m equals game matrix 4, like that. Yes, I'm using the wine version of MSVC for better or for worse, but it is the latest MSVC now, so it can't be that bad. Const auto v equals game vector 3 0.5f 1.5f 2.5f 3.5f, and then we're going to go const auto. Actually, I'll just do it in line. So assert equal m times v is game vector 3, and we're going to assume we're going to get the same as the nice whole numbers as well. So it shouldn't have any floating point issues, not too many. No, I think we're going to go vector 3 because that's the actual thing I want. Oh no, hang on. Let's. What are we doing? Gtest filter equals matrix 4 star. Try that. See how it goes. No. Ah, god damn it. Microsoft, catch up. Make your maths functions context. Wait, why is row not context, bro? That might be falsely placed blame. Oh, because of the ensure. Well, that's actually wrong anyway, so that should be... this should be expects, because I want a narrow rather than a wide contract. I don't know if that allows me to make it const expr. I guess something contracts will fix this, but I've just not got around to thinking about that yet. No, it's fine. It's... I don't think I can make this. Although in as of 26, exceptions will be const expr, so just have a think about that. I bet it won't let me call to terminate from a const expr function. Can you have a const expr assert? Is that a thing? No, I meant like, can I use asserts in a const expr function rather than doing the assert const expr time, if that makes sense. Multiplying a matrix 4 by vector 3 doesn't make sense. No, but I'm going to make it make sense. I want to run my tests, so if you could just like not for a second, if you could just back off and let me build my code so I can run my tests. I think it's okay. Like I've just slapped this as const expr and it seems to have accepted it. So look. I'll tell you what. Maybe I can't commit. Maybe it's unused. Jay, hello. Yeah, I think I'm right. We'll see what happens. So far, it seems to be okay with it. But you have to, I mean, there's still restrictions, right? Because you can't have undefined behavior in const expr, so it's still, there still restricts what you can do with it, which is interesting because this invokes undefined behavior if you reach it, so it must know that the terminate happens before that. What? Ah. I think someone spotted this and I didn't know what I didn't know what they're talking about. I mean, I've not done any research into like Clips are enabled, so you may clip away. I've not done any research into like the impact that has on my life and whether it's worth me investigating any effort into it, but I have left it open. I mean, I clip everything into shorts for the tubes, so I don't really see why having that on another platform could make much difference. Those not byte-wise the same? Oh no. Oh, I've got there's a little difference here. If I typoed in, I really hope I've just typoed in the expected result. Ah, I have. Oh, yes. Nice. Nailed it. Okay, so now back to our entity misery. Let's just quickly... what is... Just saw a rogue include. Get out of here. Okay, add matrix 4 times vector 3 operator. Cool. Okay. Oh, actually, there's another change that needs to go along with that, isn't there? Make expect. They should really be the other way around, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Matrix 4, matrix 4, 1. I don't think with matrix multiplication it makes a difference what the extended W component is, because it's... Oh. Yes, no, you are right. You are right. Because it will mix it in otherwise, isn't it? So, well, I've just... So the comment is wrong, but I'm going to delete... I'll end up removing that comment anyway. As I've only taken these rows and I'm only multiplying them up to the X, Y, Z, I've effectively... What I could have done is created a... Would that work? I'm just making sure I'm not made a mistake here. Because I'm just effectively... Because my concern is I've sliced off the... Because doesn't the translation element live here? Am I just slicing this off? Nightbot is aggressive today. Let's just suck it and see. So now, in theory, I should be able to do... Oh, I will have to now make this a vector 3 because it won't be able to just infer that type now. There's not enough context. What virtual moving space? Yes, because I still need to accumulate that data across. If I make this a 1, does it change these values? Come on. You just... It does. Okay, right. Okay, so that is... I still need... this. Plus... Let's just do this all in one go. Plus row 1 dot oh, W, yeah, sorry, being stupid. I was like, where's I've run out of letters. Oh dear. So I think I need to incorporate that into it, and then we can go back to the tests, and then we go down here, and then we can update our numbers to be 43.5, 49, and I probably should make this a vector 4, then just slice off the last one, but what are you gonna do? Ah, I see. Okay, but I do want the translation at this point, right? So I guess that's why I treat it as 1. I mean, it's all gonna, none of it's gonna work anyway, so. It's matrix 4x4 times vec4 of vec3 1, yes. Okay, right. Now we go back to our dodgy entity class. So that should be legit, so we can calculate that. I'm not going to update the transformation on it just yet, because I want to just see if the default one works. So what am I missing? I'm missing some of this, 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 some of that. The other advantage of tray and return types is I can just do this because they're already aligned. Okay, and then return visible equals visibility. That should probably say visible. Something like that. Visible. Visible. I know it doesn't make any difference in the header, but it makes a difference to me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad the workflow seems seamless. It's a lot of like, I'm just a terrible typist, so it's a lot of me like mistyping keys and getting frustrated, but I'm glad it comes across as reasonably coherent. Good afternoon. Hello. Right. Okay. So now let's go back to game. Oh, just a few includes on this now. So what we should be able to do now is modify Lua level, so it just stores entities, right? Get that transform entity rubbish out of here. I feel like that should be a span, right? Vector is an implementation detail. We shouldn't care. C++ 23 or as much as possible. Yes, well, I think I would only use a vector anyway, but otherwise we could return a range. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, then it would have to probably a template. I do not want this many windows. This is not what I asked for. It's not what I want. Gonna want a little span in there, little spanny spam. Slap that there. Get rid of the naughty. Hadn't included the transformed entity in those headers, but not to worry. Okay. So we should be able to just in place back that now. In fact, actually, if we use in place back, we should just forward it the arguments. Doesn't. Oh yeah, training return times has been since 11. It's just not many people use them. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Like, oh, is it? I'll let the compiler tell me why it doesn't like that about that. So this should be fine. This will continue being as it is, but then we'll just take the address of E, so this converts them into pointers, so we can shove them into the scene. Oh, it won't like this. It won't know what this is, I bet. And also, I don't know what this is. Is it scale? Nailed it. And then, so we don't have to worry about. No, we get rid of the old entity.entity shenanigans. Don't need the old position because we're no longer going to update the bounding box. We're literally just going to set the position. And then get rid of all this. The span of a const entity. That should type deduce to that. Yeah, you got to start. I mean, I started Vim over 10 years ago, and I was terrible with it. My view was, so I wanted to learn Vim, and I heard about this at university, this thing called Vim. Like, I mean, it wasn't new, I'm not that old, but like, I really wanted to give it a go. So I just forced myself to do all my courseworks for a year in Vim, and it took me a long time to do those courseworks. It was so much so, and the temptation was to give up, but I'm really glad I powered through with it, because now I have the delightful idiosyncrasy that I type :W every time I want to save a document, even in Google Docs, which is just a delight. Should the AABB be updated on entity position call? Yes, it will. I've just not got that yet. I want to check that I can render them first, and then we'll make them dynamic. Again, trying to small increments. So that should work. So now we should go back to game, and this should now just become a function call. I also recently, as in the last few months, swapped escape and caps lock, which is another common one. And now, if that's not set up on a computer, it's just, I'm an absolute mess. I just caps lock the whole time when I'm trying to escape out of something. That's a real deadly one. So we should. How have I passed it an empty? I don't know if you can see that. This is a range past the stood min-max. Range's min-max must not be empty. Let's break out a debugger. Indeed. British, yes. The reason like caps lock instead of escape is that it's easier for it's less of a stretch, right? If you want to switch from insert mode back to normal mode, it's literally, if you have fingers on the home row, your left pinky is literally just one key away. Okay, so let's look at the call stack for this. So game run, push back the level, somewhere in Lua level, we can have place back. Something, misery, entity. I don't want a copilot summary, I want the data. Don't be so asinine about it. Interesting. Okay, so the problem, herein lies the problem. I don't know if you can see this on this particular size, but the mesh data is empty. I strongly suspect I've forgotten to wire something up. Oh, I know why. I know exactly why. Well, I've created my miserable temporary to avoid having to rewrite the code. I've forgotten to copy it over. So this should be mesh data, mesh data. I think range swap will default to using like a memory copy and well, we're a temporary, so that should be fine. alias unknown. It's been a while since you've appeared to ask if this is pre-recorded. It is still not pre-recorded. I mean, that's pretty good. That's a pretty tight fit. Presuming that means there's one around the floor as well. I've just not drawn it. Oh no, I'd expect there to be one around the floor as well. Just figure that out in a second. They do be aligned. So now I just got to update the thing to move it around. Why is the... I'm kind of curious why I kind of thought the floor would get one by default. So let's look at the Lua level. Floor is an entity which passes the mesh and the transformation. And it lives in entities, right? So why was that not getting a... Let's just set this up. Right. Well done. Oh, it's because I've not set the working direction, have I? Do that every time. Okay. Okay, so let's have a quick look at where it's doing this, the line rendering. Is it near the end, right? Here we go. I can see it. Can you? I don't know if you can see that. It's also drawing the debug lines around the frustrum. Why is it not drawing it around that? So let's have a look at the mesh viewer. Yeah, that's that one. Hang on, am I doing this wrong? Where's the field draw rays? There you go. Is that the... I've got the barrels there. It's definitely not drawing the ground, which implies it's either not calculated the AABB or I'm... let me stop this because otherwise bad things happen. Floor is an entity, right? And it is not cube map. And it's calling this constructor. All right, and it's been given the mesh. It must have a 0. Why would that mesh not have why would that mesh not have its mesh data set? it's 72 lines, right? Because this is drawn as a GL line array. I kind of like, I think it's important to figure out because it's wrong and I've seen it now and I feel compelled to fix it. This might be easy to figure out with the debugger actually. So let's go. Oh, here we are, entity. Lua level. Let's put a breakpoint on here, right, and run this. So the floor gets added at the end here to the entities vector, which we return here. So it should, in theory, be there. My concern is that the AABB is wrong. It does have a bounding box. Is it just because oh no, because if the lines were purely like in line with the box itself, then I should still see it here, right? Because this, like, it's pretty long in the X and Z and not too big in the Y. That's what she said. So I feel like this bounding box is right. So let's go over to game and do here. Forward to there. So we're going to have level. Ah, interesting. Why has it only got 2 entities in it? How has it only got 2 entities when we render it, right? Every time, this call every time, right, has how is it rendering it? Hey? That's Dan Vale, just subscribed on Twitch. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Where's that? Alright, so we draw the skybox. We draw a barrel. We draw another barrel. And then we draw this, right? What? Oh, thanks. I'm just using VS Code as a debugger, just because you need a visual debugger sometimes. But if we go into the renderer, right? Somewhere in here. Scene's got 3 entities. Oh yeah, I'm normally using NeoVim. I'm just using this for debugging. That is strange. What am I? So here. Oh, interesting. Is the difference between entities and scene, isn't it? This will work. I used Visual Studio Proper in anger the other day for something at work. It was great. Again, at a 42-inch like widescreen monitor, so it did help. There we go. There we go. That's what we like to see. That's a tight fit that. Like a glove. Okay, so we can get this AABB to move with the other one. So back to entity. So translate. I think we can then just do bounding box dot min plus equals translation. This is the annoying one. I think what I want to do is const auto delta equals. I want to go from my current position to the new one. A to B is B minus A, so do position minus transform dot position, and then do translate delta. That's better. So my set position is now just written in terms of translate, which means I only have to have this logic in one place, which is nice. Let's see if this blends. I dropped Ventura phrase last stream twice, and no one picked up on it, and it upset me greatly. So look at that! Look at that! So it's just saying. Where is this update level? Oh, that's from the Lua, isn't it? Okay, so a little bit of time. Let's just comment on what we got first, and we'll see commit up what we got first and what we get to. I mean, sure, but it's getting hot in this Rhino, I think, is a quintessential part of Ace Ventura 2. Because Entity also contains the textures that you should render with. Entity contains all the information that you need to render something in the world. Whether it should or not, I don't know. It's hard to say. That needs to be amended to this one, right? Because we fixed that bug up. So let's fix that up. And then that also needs to amend this one. Then we've got store reference to mesh data in mesh. And then all this is basically move bounding box to entity. Redemption subscribed on Prime. Thank you very much appreciated. Don't forget that if you are a member or subscriber or any of those kind of things, there's some extra stuff on Discord, like an extra room and stuff, and some roles, so do come on over and say hi. Okay, so let's have a quick look at where we are. I think this is pretty good. I'm tempted to... Do we want to see if we can just ham in the frustrum culling super quick? I was hoping the latest Visual Studio would improve, the latest MSVC would improve my build times, but alas. Here we are. I'll put in the reset level. I kind of want to finish getting the functionality of the level in first. I know reset feels much more of the plumbing rather than the level. Okay, fine. So let's have a look at this. So if we hoist this out, so what's that, 45? Into game. Just stick this here, okay. I will use, oh, you know what? I will use a loop for this. Oh, we've already got this, haven't we? So let's, already looping through the entities. Let's make this mutatable, and we'll do entity dot set I thought I had like set visibility. I do. Why is it being funny about that? Set visibility. Oh, is this const? It is. Okay, fine. I know. It's what we're using, for better or for worse. What do I want? Do I want to make this mutable? I feel like this should... Yes, for the sake of progress. Not sure I'm entirely happy with that. What? I don't know what I called it now. What's it called? Intersects frustrum. So it should be, it's visible if it intersects the frustrum of of entity bounding box and then camera dot frustrum planes. Okay, let's just check that blends. It means compiler and IDE. That's a long project. Outrageous. It's because that's const now. So I was maintaining an array of a vector of const pointers, but I want it to be no longer const, but I'm still trying to shove them in as const. They're all going to be like this now. In fact, actually, let's cut this Hydra head off at the source. Game CMake source game levels CMake. Just not compile these. Oh man, it's too. We're not ready for constcast yet. Shadows. I haven't even thought about shadows yet. We are way, way away from shadows. Okay, so now what I want to do is ham into the renderer. We've got ranges? We've got ranges, okay. For entity in stood views filter. Const auto e return e visible. Is visible. So now we should skip over anything that's not visible. Okay, so now I need to check that these things are no longer rendered. So let's quickly check here. So the idea is that we shouldn't render anything we're not looking at because there's no point. It's like not a particularly important optimization for us for now, but it's kind of free with what we're doing anyway, so it seems silly not to do it. So if I don't look at this, capture that. Okay. So we should see only one draw call for this somewhere. I've got to find it first. Can I filter just by draw calls? Okay, fine, whatever. The draw elements, one barrel. So there should be no other draw elements for 2000. I think that's right because then we've got the box there. So I think we've done it. I think we have frustum culling in the renderer now, which was nice and easy. Because then there's that there, and then there's that there. So just to convince ourselves, let's launch it again. Look at those, capture the frame, about this, process this, color pass. For 2000 and 40,000. There you go. So we have two draw calls. Nice. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with that. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'm happy to maybe have a go at explaining it. Let's go make scene entities not const. We'll leave that for now because we'll pick that up next. Compile old levels. It's kind of a temporary fix, and then custom culling in renderer. Stream 48. Look at that. Yeah, 4,200 triangles for a single barrel. It's not a particularly optimized mesh. You saw two draw. There should have been two draw calls then, because there was two things we were drawing. This is what you're referring to. There's one here and one here. So first one. Let's go to the first one and second one. We can double check. Maybe I've committed it now, so I'm hoping it's going to work. Oh, oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. Why did I check this right at the end? God damn it. It's 40,000. Oh, there's two draw calls. Well, good spot. Okay, fine. Well, those commits were totally falsely placed because it's not working at all. Back to figuring out frustum culling again. I can't understand why that doesn't work, because it's exactly the same code we've had before, which 100% definitely does work. Yeah, the nearvim files are on GitHub somewhere. The camera const when I checked it. The camera shouldn't be const, it's just up here, and this is what we mutate when we move around. Because this is what we... I know the camera's... Ooh, what's... That's player.camera. That's at home. I can't remember half the stuff I've written now. Got two different cameras, mate. Don't worry about the other one. Don't talk about the other one. Right. So has this now? Christ, bike. Is anyone else? Oh, it's just, I think it was a torn buffer. Because it was doing it on the swap. Oh, it's gone now. Okay, it's just RenderDoc being having a moment. Having a moment. Okay. 36. 4200. I don't think there is another 4200 render call in there, so I think it is working. I think I was just using the wrong camera. So the question is, and I will be going in a minute, but the hell is the difference between undefined behavior, UB mate. Hoisted by my own petard. And force push that into the git hole. Yeah, I need to add a .files command to Nightbot. Might do that later. Right. I hope everyone has enjoyed themselves this evening. It was fun jolly through some interesting C++ and by terrible architecture as always. Next stream, so Sunday, for anyone who's new here, Wednesdays and Sundays. I believe I'm streaming on Sunday. We will get the visibility stuff into Lua, and then like we can basically hopefully start wrapping it. I keep saying this. We will then be able to start writing some levels. .files, auto, and setup commands required. Yes. Thank you. The most impressive part of the stream is the OBS transitions. I'm happy to admit that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you can come to some more. Do come to the Discord. If you are interested, enable, and you can, YouTube membership and Twitch subscriptions. However, it's not necessary because everything is free for everyone. It normally just means a slightly enhanced experience, but that's kind of it. I don't really push or shill it too hard. I have been working pretty much every evening for the last week or so trying to get the code working for open sourcing it on the Git repo that I posted earlier. Sorry, words have escaped me. Now that is done, I'm going to take a break from that, and I'm going to start thinking about what the next video is going to be. Bank code, yes, nice. Yeah, I'm going to start thinking about the next video now because it's time I kind of got back on that horse and did some more stuff. But we'll still be streaming twice a week. Yes, the Star Trek laser sword is pretty sweet. It's just I would have it on all the time, but it's just got ambient noise. When I build my own eventually with a Profi board, I can have it so there's like a stream mode. I really want one hooked up to Home Assistant so I can just control it from my smart home. But no, we use the saber to cut through loops and complexity and just lay out a smooth ranges finish. Yeah, it's pretty. I've got some spare fiber crystals for it as well, so I can change the color of it. I'm glad you managed to get some work done. Please. Right, I'm going to go. I want a drink. I'll hang out on Discord for another hour or so. I'll catch you guys Sunday. Thank you very much for coming along, and I'll see you later.